Hey guys, welcome to another recap with Gino. Today we're going to be breaking down Backlash. This might be one of the easier cards to predict on the entire year. It's kind of a throwaway card. We got John Cena versus Randy Orton. We got Gunther versus Pat McAfee. We got Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. We got Lyra Valkyrie versus Becky Lynch. And we have a fatal four-way for the United States Championship. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Interesting, but that might be the only one. Well, no, this is all kind of predictable. I just don't know which match you start with the card. So I'm gonna go with my own personal thing. Excuse me. Um, I think we get Dominic Mysterio versus Penta to start off the night, and it should be a very good match to start off the night. I expect a little bit of shenanigans from Finn, who's gonna try and interfere on behalf of Dame on Dominic, but look like he's also promising Dominic to get Penta the belt, and it may backfire at some point. But also at the same point, it may look like he's helping Dom to screw Penta, but he's really just trying to screw Dom because the Judgment Day is disintegrating even further now, as we can tell. And also, for those who are wondering, sorry, before I continue, Liv Morgan will be back in 2 weeks. But yes, like I was saying, we kind of have an ongoing story within a story. I feel bad for Penta. He's caught in the middle of this because he's going to suffer his first loss in WWE, singles loss, I should say. Um, Unfortunately, we can't take the belt off of Dom right now. He's way too hot, red hot. I think they want him to be the heel that won the belt and make him a heel and make more Penta the face. Or sorry, not Penta, Balor the face going through the feud, but it's going to be the other way around. The crowd just loves Dom now. It took a while. But that dude was getting heat for playing with him and speak for years, and all of a sudden he's just beloved. And people have just given up on Finn because they know WWE has as well. And like I said, I think Finn and JD and Carlito are all interfered at one point. I think Finn's gonna interfere, thinking he's screwing over Penta, but accidentally screwing over Dom, but it will not pay off in the long run. Dominic Mysterio will win this match due to interference from Finn trying to help Penta, but looking like he's helping Dom. All right, guys. Following that, I think this one's gonna be extremely easy to predict. Lyra Valkyrie is gonna be dropping the IC title to Becky Lynch, and I think it should be a little bit dominated by Becky here, in my opinion. I think she should whip Lyra's ass for most of the match, even though Lyra's the star. And she's going to be a massive star, and Becky doesn't need the IC belt. But I think we'll play into the feud with Bayley as well. And maybe that's how you get Bayley the IC belt as well off of Becky. Or a triple threat going into the next pay-per-view. But Lyra's had a decent run. And she's elevated that belt to I think something on people think it would. And she's elevated herself as well. Like the least couple of weeks she's had those promos that made it look extremely good. But you know the rule of WWE. If you are the person left laying on the go home show before the pay per view, you're usually the person winning the belt. And Lyra left Becky laying. After 2 weeks ago, Becky left Lyra laying. Um, I think Bayley may come in and try and help Lyra and interfere and kind of cost Lyra the match here. Backfiring. I don't think WWE would do that again, but they may because they like to do the same finish repeatedly. Um, does Becky really need the belt? No. Is Becky gonna win the belt? Yes. Is lost to Lyra gonna lost by Lyra really gonna affect her? I don't know because she's already beaten Becky once, and now they'll be 1-1 in their series. Um, like I said, it's just I think it's for the betterment of of the storyline in and of itself. How Lyra Becky's saying that Lyra left her to go be with Bayley to better herself, and she never really needed Lyra. She used Lyra to help make herself better. Blah blah blah. And Bayley does the same thing, and now she's trying to prove her point. I love how everyone's convinced that Becky's going to join Seth Rollins in that stable. I don't think she is. I think Becky's out to do her own little thing here, and we'll see what happens. But long story short, I think Becky's going to beat Lyra, and Bayley may come involved in this match at some point during the night. Following that, I think this should. I don't think it's going to be like this, but I think it should be like this. I think it should be an one-sided absolute domination by Gunther, who just lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Jey Uso a month ago. I think he should absolutely obliterate Pat McAfee. I think Pat McAfee should get a few shots in, but I think Gunther should just be on a rampage and wanting vengeance for losing his belt. Absolutely just annihilate Pat and toy with him and play with him until he's done playing and then choke him unconscious and let his body fall limp to the mat just to prove a point. that he is gone psychotic and he will do anything and stop at nothing to get his belt back. And he will hurt everybody in his path and he will not stop until he gets what he wants. That's my theory, and that's how I think they should book it to make Gunther this unstoppable killing machine. And even announcer be damned or wrestler or anyone in general, if you get in his way, he will hurt you. And I think that's what they should do. But I think they're going to make this a competitive match because Pat McAfee's actually decent in the ring. For those of you who remember his run in NXT and a little bit of running out on the main roster, the guy can actually do some things. I mean, even though he's a punter, he's somewhat athletic, I guess you could say. But like I said, me personally, I'd have Gunther absolutely run through Pat McAfee, make it like a long, prolonged. You can't watch it, but you can't take your eyes away from it beating. At the same point, I think having Pat fight back a little bit could be good. But I think Gunther should absolutely massacre Pat McAfee. That's my personal opinion. I also think Gunther's going to win this match. I don't think it should be even coming close to close. Like, no disrespect to Pat. Pat is a funny dude and he's a good commentator, but a commentator shouldn't be beating an ex-heavyweight champion of the world. That's my personal opinion. And then we have Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. And Jacob Fatu is not losing the belt in his first defense. It's going to be an amazing match. It'll probably be the match of the night. Probably one of the better matches of the year you're going to see. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest will definitely rekindle their feud some point during this match, and as will LA Knight and Jacob. I think all these guys are going to have moments at some point, but I think Jacob at some point is going to catch, and I think unfortunately it'll be LA Knight who catches the pin in this match. I think he's going to catch him with a pop-up Samoan drop and that jump up moonsault while the other two guys are in the ring distracted or something, and that'll be that. And he may even few more cookie crumbles that Solo Sikoa is going to be screwing Jacob Fatu at some point. We'll get Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu at Hot WrestleMania, aka SummerSlam. But I don't know what else to read into this. It just seems like a throw together because they need an extra match on the card. It does got two stories going into each other, kind of three now that Jacob's kind of feuding with all these dudes. They want Jacob to look like this absolute destroyer, this kind of Umaga-like character. Um, It'll be interesting. We'll see. And following that, we're gonna have Randy Orton versus John Cena, and I don't know what to make of this match because Randy Orton can still somewhat wrestle. John Cena, I think his best days are behind him. I know he's supposed to wrestle the way he's wrestling because he's a heel, and he's wrestling the way he thinks that he should be perceived the way he's doing it. If that makes sense. These guys have always had absolutely incredible matches with each other. They've been feuding for over 25 years, but at some point, Father Time does get to everybody, and they both dealt with some massive injuries in their careers. So I know they're both going to slow down at some point. Is this match going to be something to write home about? An all-time classic? Probably not. Compared to some of the matches I've had in the past. Is it still going to be good? Probably, because they're very good at what they do. And they're very good at what they do in different ways. Do they both like to recycle the same moves repeatedly? Yes, but most wrestlers do. Um, that being said, this is way too predictable of a match. John Cena is not losing the belt to Randy Orton. I think we're gonna have one title change. As you guys can hear in the background, Mom is sick. We're gonna have one title change. I think Lyra's dropping her belt. That'll be about it for the title changes. The Dominic Mysterio one, I'm 99.9% confident that Dominic's not dropping on his first title defense. But if Finn does cause, but Dominic will cause more heat on the feud, and they can drag that more to the storyline. Is that an apology? Finn said he accidentally tried to cause Penta and screw Dom by accident. But I don't see Dominic dropping the belt this early. Just to take, excuse me, guys. To take the belt off Braun to put it on Dom to put it on Penta would be kind of weird. And they could have just taken the belt off of Braun at the Armenia and put it on Penta. Um, yeah, it's kind of not gonna be the longest video because it's kind of for me it's kind of a predictable, very predictable card. Like I said, I think Gunther should absolutely destroy Pat McAfee. John Cena, Randy Orton is going to be something. The United States title match could be the match, one of the matches of the year. Becky Lynch and Lyra could also be absolutely incredible. Seeing as if Becky can do anything, because we've legitimately seen Becky wrestle for maybe 15 minutes since she's been back. And Lyra's just gotten better with every match. And I've been a fan of Lyra in NXT. Um, Dominic and Penta will be very fun. Or it could be better than we think, but it also could be just one of those throwaway cards. But those are my predictions, and I'll talk to you guys again later on tomorrow as we go to SmackDown. As I'm making these predictions pre SmackDown. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.